Over the 12 years or so of their run, Marvel has produced some of the best comic book adaptations for the big screen to date. With dozens and dozens of movies that have come out over the span of a decade, we can look at 10 movies that have moved audiences because of their spectacular performances, story arcs, or memorable characters. With that being said, here are the top 10 Marvel movies to date. Coming up at number 10, we have Doctor Strange. The MCU is no stranger to delving into the depths of fantasy. But with the introduction of Doctor Strange in 2016, they took that concept to an entirely new level. When a decorated neurosurgeon gets his hands tied up in a dreadful car accident, he ventures the world in search of esoteric medicine. This eventually leads him down the path of becoming the master of the mystic arts and restoring balance to reality whenever it is needed. Luckily, we don't need the Eye of Agamotto to watch this masterpiece again. At number 9, we have Thor Ragnarok. Let's face it, the first two Thor films were a bit underwhelming from the start, but the third movie in the Thor series was anything but. Instead of taking a more somber and ancient take on the character, they mixed things up with a little bit of homespun humor and some amazing special effects to create an excellent Thor film. It brings back a lot of the classic characters like Loki, Valkyrie, and Heimdall, but introduces a host of other characters, including Helo, Thor's half-sister, which made for one of the best villains in the MCU. Watch Thor turn from a hot-tempered hero to a wizened sage over the course of this movie to know how wonderful the storytelling is. At number 8, we have Avengers Infinity War. It is no small feat to bring together so many characters from across several dozen movies and squeeze them all into one film. But the Russo brothers did just that, and it played out perfectly, thanks largely in part to the main villain of the film, the Mad Titan Thanos. We had been seeing the build-up to this movie since the first Avengers film back in 2012, and boy did it pay off. The pace of the film was superb, and it never felt like they were crowding too many heroes into a single frame. It all felt very balanced and holistic when it came together, and a delight to watch. This is as close as we will get to an actual comic book movie. For number 7, we have SpiderMan Homecoming. For years, fans had wanted to see Spider-Man in action in the MCU alongside other superheroes. Their prayers were finally answered when he was brought out for Captain America Civil War, and shortly thereafter, he swung into his own standalone adventure as a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Tom Holland's take on the character was a nice blend of the two Spider-Men that came before him. Also, the Vulture, played by Michael Keaton, also turned out to be a more menacing villain than anyone could have thought, making the movie even more memorable. For number 6, we have another hero who made his debut in Captain America Civil War. Yes, I'm talking about Black Panther. The Wakandan King's standalone movie was nothing short of exhilarating, and you don't have to be a fan of the character to see why. Since Black Panther was already introduced to us in Civil War, the movie makers went to craft an engaging plot that keeps the audience hooked from the very start. It explores many philosophical themes and has one of the greatest villains put to screen. Michael Jordan Jr.'s Killmonger is arguably one of the best performances of any MCU movie. At number 5, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. When Marvel announced that they were introducing a new superhero team that patrolled the galaxy in a spaceship and had members like a talking raccoon and a sentient tree, people were thinking finally that the company had gone off the rails. But imagine the surprise when the film actually made for an engaging story without being overly witty. On top of that, it introduces us to characters that have since gone from being completely unknown to household names in the franchise. This movie shows the unique blend of characters, plot, and story, and churns out some of the best that Marvel has to offer. At number 4, we have Captain America Winter Soldier, part superhero drama and part action spy thriller. The second Captain America movie has been arguably the best in the Captain America trilogy. When Cap and Black Widow uncover a Hydra plot to land helicarriers on civilian grounds, the two go rogue to ensure that it doesn't come to fruition. But their attempts are hampered consistently by a hitman by the name of the Winter Soldier. The plot only thickens when Cap realizes the true identity of the Winter Soldier, and then the movie becomes a question of friendship and morality. Coming up at number 3, we have the movie that started it all, Iron Man. Over the course of the years, MCU movies have made substantial progress in character development and visual effects, so it comes as a surprise that one of their best films is also their first. The film came out of nowhere and took a relatively new and unrecognized character and pitted him on the big screen. With a decent plot and some good action, you have yourself a blockbuster that was a catalyst for the comic book universe. Credit must also be given to Robert Downey's take on the character, giving it a touch of charm and charisma and making him a beloved character. At number 2, we have The Avengers. When Nick Fury made a surprise reveal at the end of Iron Man, it set the stage for the moment that all comic book fans were waiting so patiently for. Over the next couple of years, Marvel set the stage for the formation of a small team of superheroes that are just getting their bearings as a team. And when it hit the big screen, it surpassed the standard benchmark set for a movie of that caliber. It put together Captain America, the Hulk, Iron Man and Thor, among various other characters to take on Loki and his army. The formation of the recent superhero team among their troubles and doubts finally paid off and eventually led to even more ambitious MCU movies. And finally, at number 1, we have Captain America Civil War. You know what's more difficult than making a good sequel? It's making the third film in the franchise even better than the middle one. Captain America Civil War did just that. When the team is faced with legislation that puts them under the scrutiny of the UN, it creates a rift between the heroes, and the questionable deeds of the Winter Soldier only makes things worse. This movie not only delivers on the superhero action expected of such films, but deals with emotional drama and serious themes to craft the perfect superhero film. To say that Marvel knocked this one out of the park would be an understatement. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, and for more content like this, subscribe to the channel.